in Gauteng, you have spoken about the establishment of developmental nodes or smart cities. There's talk of the new place or development called Hazeldean outside Pretoria, and there was talk of Lanseria area also being developed as a new city. Can you tell me more about these mega projects?
Yeah, actually, before I get into that, it'll be important to indicate to our viewers that as Gauteng province, we came up with a concept called mega special economic zones, and this is actually pretty related to what you are asking about. We want to turn Gauteng into a well-coordinated ecosystem of manufacturing. So each of our corridors will have special economic zone specializing in specific sectors. For example, in Swan, we have got automotive special economic zone, which is construction is in progress. Most of our SMMEs are also participating in the construction of that project, and we expect them to also be part of the operation. In the far side, we're also trying to establish a special economic zone which will focus on issues of steel beneficiation as well as agro-processing. From that side of West Rand, we know that that place is historically a mining area. So we're coming up with a special economic zone which will focus on issues of mineral beneficiation, but also not forgetting what you call the agro-processing or agriculture and agro-processing value chain. In the north also, we are also establishing what we call high-tech special economic zone, which will make sure that we move nicely into the fourth industrial revolution in terms of manufacturing and stuff like that. So all these residential areas that we talk about, they are aligned to this program of making sure that Gauteng is a mega special economic zone, but also making sure that our people can stay where they work. All these projects that you've just mentioned, they are in the proximity of these mega special economic zones. And that Debra team to help us with the R in the TMR, the R which talks about reindustrialization, because we are saying that we have now opened the rest of the continent for our businesses, for our SMME to be able to export to the rest of Africa. But we are saying that can we get ourselves ready? Can we have these products that can be produced here in the province, which we can then export, rather than use Gauteng or South Africa as a conduit for export from other countries to the rest of Africa. In that way, we will not be able to benefit our people in terms of economic growth, in terms of employment, because the issues of local content and local production and making sure that our SMMEs in all these mega projects play a critical role consciously and deliberately from the government point of view. And maybe without dwelling much into the specific, the economic recovery plan of the province, which is aligned to the National Economic Recovery Plan, has got 4 key pillars. The first pillar talks about partnerships with the private sector. People talk about dealing with white monopoly capital. We are saying no, we are not necessarily fighting because we are in this together. If you work with the big businesses to make sure that we share the cake, and if we share the cake, we have the potential to grow the economy even faster, and it's win-win to all of us. So these partnerships in all these programs that we're coming up with is going to be important. You talked about the Lanseria. So the second pillar is to use infrastructure development as a vehicle to make sure that we grow the economy and we create opportunities. So social and economic infrastructure are a key part of that. This issue of establishing new nodes of development in terms of residential, but also in terms of production, is there to ensure that we reboot the economy out of the crisis of COVID-19. Of course, before COVID-19, we were already struggling. This has just made matters worse. So in the development of that social and economic infrastructure, as Gauteng province, working with private sector, we are also deliberately making sure that our SMMEs find space to participate in the construction of these important infrastructure programs. The other key one, as I indicated earlier, that we are turning Gauteng to become a mega special economic zone, is to say special economic zone is an important vehicle to grow the economy of the province and the economy of the country. So both in construction and in operation, we want SMEs to play part there. The last pillar is the one that talks about integration with the rest of Africa. And the EBRA team is where we say, let's make sure that as much as the rest of Africa is going to benefit from selling their products in this country, in this province, can we also make sure that we also sell our product to the rest of Africa, rather than allowing other countries outside the continent to capture that market? So charity begins at home. But as you have heard me speaking so far, I keep on talking about small businesses. I keep on talking about small enterprises. So at the center of this four-pillar approach, all these pillars, they are brought together by SMME support and development, which include, of course, township economy, issues of market access, issues of funding, issues of business development support,